Hello, my name is Ricardo Tenorio. I'm a Milwaukee filmmaker, and my film is Pontrin King. It's a crime drama, and it's pretty much about like a kid that down on his luck, and he tries to overcome this neighborhood bully, but the way he goes about it is kind of more twisted than kind of underdog like. So that's what it is.
Yeah, thank you for sending us your film. We enjoyed it. This was kind of a late entry into our festival. Were you shooting it all during the pandemic with this, or was this just kind of like piled up and getting films done and completed and putting it out there?
We did shoot it during the pandemic. There's a park over here by where I live. That's where we shot it, on the east side. The production was totally safe and all that. We had masks and all. But the reason why it was late is one, I was really proud of the film, and I really wanted to wait for the festivals to come around. And I'm really glad I waited to send it out or anything, because I feel like there was certain parts that I kind of wanted to fix. So the final version right now is definitely the best it can be, and I'm really proud of it.
Good. And you have primarily young actors in this. They're probably teenagers or still in high school.
Yeah. Half of them are from high school. I went to an art school, High School of the Arts, and they had a theater program, and I wasn't in theater, but that's how I met most of them. And then the other half are some people from friend group, or maybe some Facebook groups for the Milwaukee actors scene. That's how I met some of them, and all of them are fantastic people.
Did you envision this as something that takes place in a high school setting and cast the actors age appropriate, or were you just wanted to stick with that area and not go a little bit older?
I like to work with what I usually have. Obviously I don't have a lot of budget. A lot of the budget just goes to the props, and we work really hard on these projects, but and there's not a lot of money or kind of budget in it. It's all of our love that's put into them. So the budget for more seasoned actors, older actors, kind of I'll always ask some people sometimes, but I have to use with what I can with the money that we have. And I don't like to for some projects I'll cast younger actors to play older actors, but I usually like to make it more realistic or accurate to what they kind of look like. So a lot of them are kind of teen focused, or not teen focused, but teen or school or coming of age stories. Just so I like I like it when it looks right, whether instead of having a 16-year-old play a 40-year-old, I would rather have it look right to me.
You first submitted to our film festival back in 2015, so this is probably your 7th year that I've been aware of your work. How did you start?
In middle school, I started working on little Lego projects. I didn't really live close to a lot of my friends from school. I lived kind of far, so I wasn't really out a lot much and hanging out with a lot of people. So I had a lot of time on my hands and a closet full of old VHS tapes, and I always watched a lot of movies, and I kind of fell in love with movies that way. And with that, I just kind of got inspired. So I started with stop motion with Legos, and from then I just kind of grew more and more, especially in high school, where I met some actors and it gets bigger and bigger like the more it goes on.
You've sent us quite a few films this year, and you're very prolific. How many films do you make a year?
Sadly, not as much as I'd like, but I think around 2 or 3 a year, 2 or 3 shorts.
Did COVID slow you down a little bit?
Actually, I think COVID actually really helped with one of the projects. One of them was an animated one, and I was actually kind of not working as fast as I should have on that project, but then quarantine happened and I had a ton of free time, and that sped production up a lot. So I honestly think I probably would still be working on that project right now. So it didn't slow me down. I'm always trying to do something, like even if I don't have a casting crew, I still want to work on a project that I can just do myself.
So you do a lot of animation as well.
Yeah, I do a lot of, that's how I started, and that's my studio name, AnimationOverloadStudios. Like, I love animation and all that. I wouldn't call myself an animator though. I feel like I don't have the patience for it. I respect the art form in animation, like, and animators so much. I love like animated movies and all that. It's just, it's difficult for me to really do that, especially if it's by myself. But here and there, I do incorporate animation into different aspects of my film. The one I just finished up, that's like I'm really proud of that. But it has limited kind of animation. It's like very stylized. Like, if I always want things to look nice, but if I know my limitations, I kind of restrict them. So I do animation, but not like fully. So. Yeah.
So where did this idea come from? Because it's an unusual revenge story that I don't think people would have seen this type of revenge story before.
The style definitely comes from my all-time favorite director, Gaspar Noé, but also my own style. I love neon lights and just like trippy visuals. And that's his style, like quick editing and kind of a twisted kind of story. But I also really like teen dramas.
Mm-hmm.
I just find, like, I think a lot of teenagers and kids, a lot of how people actually are with each other isn't really shown a lot in a lot of films. It's so over the top in some shows, and I just kind of wanted like a more toned down but still kind of twisted tale about this kid, this voice isn't heard and he's sick of it. So he's not the good guy, but you kind of root for him throughout the movie, sort of, but by the end you'll be like, yeah, you went too far. I like telling a story about a voice where the stakes are grounded. I like grounded stories with more grand editing and lighting. That stuff kind of interests me, and
yeah, I mean, you mentioned Noah's work, but I think you can also see some of Larry Clark's work in this film, like a combination of like Noah's work visually and Larry Clark's work of kind of how he examines the teenage life too.
Mm-hmm. And definitely Nicholas Winding Refn as well. I love his surrealist, dream-like stuff. I'm a real lover of surrealism. Even if the story is grounded, I still like telling the story as psychedelic, but also, dream-like. I just like telling a story that's interesting, but also accompanied with a really eye-catching style. Like, that's just how I love to make my movies.
I hope people will enjoy your film when we screen it this September.
Awesome.